So same concept, except now we're just going to use a little bit more algebra. And this is angle relationships that we just learned, in addition to using algebra, which is the best because you can check your answer. So again, we're going to classify these angles, and they are vertical, so I want you to write vertical. What do we know about vertical angles? We know they're equal to each other. So when I set this up, I'm going to use equality. I know that 8x plus 31 is equal to 16x minus 9. And of course, here we just solve for x, and you guys are experts at this. So I'm going to subtract 8x on both sides. I'm going to add 9. And so I get 80. 8x equals 40. Yeah, that's right. And then x equals 5. And it's just asking me to find the value of x. So the tricky part on the, and it's not real tricky, is go back and read what is the question asking. If it just wants you to solve for x, great. But if it were asking me to, identify the angle measurements, then you have to go back and plug in. Take a look at number 3. What kind of angles are these? These are complementary. You only know that they are complementary because of this mark here. If you did not have that mark, you cannot assume, because it could be 89.5 degrees. It has to have that mark. But complementary angles add up to 90 degrees. So I set my equation and I solve. And then I subtract 13 on both sides and I get 77. X then equals 7. Okay? All right. Look at number 5. Now it says find each angle measurement. So this is where you have to go back and plug in. We know that these angles right here are supplementary. It's a straight line. It says a straight angle. So they're going to add up to 180. So 3x plus 20 plus 10x minus 22 is all equal to 180. And you guys can work this on your paper at the same time. And let's see if we're getting the same thing. Sometimes we don't get the same thing because I go too fast. 13, so x equals 1 and 4. So I'm getting 14 is my answer here, and then it's asking for SQR. So SQR, I'm going to go back and plug in 14 here. And I get 1. Why does it do that? I don't know. 140 minus 22, and that's going to give me 118. So SQR is 118 degrees. Now, I could use, I know that they're both equal to 180, so I don't even have to go back and plug it in. I just know that 180 minus 18 is 62 degrees. And of course, check your answer. I know I'm going up here pretty fast, so I can make mistakes. But make sure you're checking your answer. All right, let's do... all right, P2. Oh, I like this one. Let's go back and look at number 9. Okay, here I have vertical angles. You know vertical angles are equal to each other. So I'm going to say 8x minus 17 equals 5x plus 13. Solve for x, subtract 5x on both sides, and then add 17 on both sides, and I get x equals 10. That's my value of x. Look what the question's asking. It's asking for RTS. So RTS is this one here. So it's 50 plus 13, and that's 63 degrees. Okay? Now, look with this guy. PTQ is this angle right here. Well, if I know that these are vertical angles and this is 63 degrees, I know that together these guys are complementary. So if that's 63, this guy needs to be 27 degrees because complementary angles add up to 90. Okay? All right. And then if you have a picture, like let's jump to number 12. All right. When you have a word problem, I would draw it out. So if R and S are complementary, now complementary, they're not necessarily adjacent. I'm just drawing mine that way. And if I know that angle R is 2x plus 7 and angle S is 4x minus 13, I know complementary angles add up to 90 degrees. So, of course, I make my equation, combine like terms, add 6 to both sides, divide by 6, and I get x equals 14, okay? So x is not 15. Not at all, not at all, not at all. Look, see, I told you I'd make a mistake. Let's go back. Let me slow down. 2x and 4x is 6x minus 6x minus 6 equals 90. Now I'm going to add 6. See, when I don't write out my work, I make mistakes. 6x equals 96. Now we divide by 6, and I get 16 is my value for x. But it's asking me to find angle R. So angle R is here, so I'm going to plug in 16 for x. I get 32 plus 7. And so the measurement of angle R is going to equal 39 degrees. So, if that one's 39, not that you need the other one, but if you know it's 90 degrees, it's going to be 61 degrees. Okay, let's look at number 13. So vertical angles, what do you know about vertical angles? You know that they're equal to each other. So if you wanted to draw them, you can. This is 7x plus 1, and this is 5x plus 47. You know that they're equal to each other, so that's how I'm going to set my equation up for equality. Subtract 5x on both sides. Subtract 1 on both sides. Divide by 2, and x equals 23, but that's not the question. The question's asking for angle 2. Angle 2 is right here. So 5 times 23 plus 47, and that's going to give me 115 plus 47, and that's going to give me 162 degrees. So that's how you use algebra, but I'm sure you already knew that. Come see me if you need me.